Fun video for you today, surrounded by various bits and pieces. I'm trying to get ready for my holiday in Mallorca where we're going to be doing the 312. I'm going to be making some decisions on some of my favourite components, trying out some new ones. Basically, this is me getting ready for that epic ride. Let's go. Okay, here's the situation. I've got a few decisions to make. The first important one is which bike I'm actually going to take, because I enjoy riding both of these, the 51 Seeker and my Look RS Blade. A bit of a spoilt brat, I know. I think I am edging towards this one. It's a little bit racier, and it's also just got that little bit more like cafe kudos about it, I think. I know the Nero show says it's a dog of a bike. They just don't understand. The build quality in this is beautiful. Every time you sit on it, you just appreciate something new about it. This one, still very high quality, but just like, this is just nice. But it does need a bit of weight taken out of it. These wheels are great, but we do have the raws. So I think what I'm going to do is take these tyres off. We are going to Mallorca and the weather, generally speaking, is pretty good. So got the opportunity of running my favourite tyres. These are the Michelin Power Cups in a 30. So I think we're going to go fast forward raws, Michelin Power Cup 30s. That'd be pretty cool. I've also just got some new Look bottle cages as well. So these are pretty heavy. We're going to take them out and replace it with that, so it's all matchy and looking nice. We've also just received the new Wahoo Element bolt, but this one is quite interesting because look how small and light it is, and it now comes with a colour screen. So in terms of like all the data you want for weenie weights, that's a nice appealing prospect. So we're going to be giving that a go as well. We've also got the Wahoo Tracker radar. Now, this is an interesting thing. My first impressions of this was it's actually bigger than the computer itself, but it's the first time I've ever used a radar type light as well, so I'm kind of keen to give that a go. I don't think I'll take this with me, but I'm definitely going to be giving that a test. And one last change I want to make to this bike is this saddle, this 3D printed saddle. I have tried my hardest to like this. I thought I was getting on with it, but I still just keep catching my skin on it. So when you're sat on it really still, it's actually quite comfortable. But every time you move, you get out of the saddle, you sit back down, you've kind of got to readjust, and I keep just catching my skin on it, and it's just not for me. So I think I'm going to go back to the ProLogo I have on this. This is the ProLogo Dimension in 143 with the carbon rails. I just really get on with this saddle. It's as simple as that, and a lot of you do as well. So, and then later on in the video as well, I've also got to get Vic's bike ready, and part of that is actually oh my God, Mapdeck has a set of Chinese wheels in for test. I said I'd never do this. Normally, when I get an email from one of the Chinese wheel brands saying, will you test our wheels? Sometimes I even just send them on spec. I normally say no, on the basis that one, they can't get spares, two, I can't contact anyone to speak to them. So I sent Elite the exactly same email, and they sent me a contract like most of these Chinese wheel brands do. And again, the contracts are normally really like watertight in their favor. They want to use my likeness to use in their marketing no matter what I say. They also want to have the right to remove the video if they don't think it's positive, and I just say no, that is not the point of this channel. Anyway, they took out all of those parts of the contract, pretty much waived the contract entirely, sent me these, but also put me in touch with the UK service centre. Yet they now have a UK service centre. I am not entirely sure whether these need a review in their own right or not. And then, yeah, what else? We've got some new brake pads from Cinta, because this is a new set of brake pads. Got the new Aero helmet from Look. I'm not quite sure if that's going to go too fanboy. You guys let me know. And at the end of all this, I'm going to take it for a test ride. Right, quite a lot to do. Get cracking. Carbon fittings. Titanium hardware, just saying. Michelin Power Cups then. So one of my favourite tyres in dry conditions. Apparently these do score well on the rolling resistance test for wet weather, but I found them to be a bit inconsistent. I think that depends on the road surface, but in dry weather, these are such a confidence inspiring ride. Now, they might not be the fastest in terms of rolling resistance, but they're very high. And in my sort of testing so far, what I do find is that I just have an awful lot of fun on them. I just feel like I can really throw it around. And that's what a tyre should do, really. If you feel confident, you will go fast. And this is one of those tyres that just makes me feel like I'm, riding really well. So as a result, it has become known as my fun tyre. Feels like summer's here when you get the power cups out. So the way to mount tyres on these really shiny rims, try not to get your tyre lever on there because you'll just wreck it, but really make sure that everything is in the drop channel, and then don't try and do everything in one big move. Just tease it in a little bit at a time in both directions, and eventually it will just pop. So don't be greedy, a little bit at a time. Goes on okay, nice. Here we go, all sorted. Bit of a clean down the service, lube the chain, etc. These are the fast forward rights on those 30mm power cups, my fun tyres. Lightweight bottle cages, back to my ProLogo Dimension, and gives us 7.6 kilograms. What a dog of a bike, how on earth will I cope? All jokes aside, the build quality in this is what it's all about for me. I just love all the little details, like that handlebar is still one of the best handlebar setups I've come across ever on a bike. The whole seat clamp bolt system, etc. The whole one piece bottom bracket bonded in properly. That's the sort of stuff I'm into. Those little weight savings, not so important to me. While we're on the theme of look stuff, you might remember when we caught up with Alex at Roulette Show that they promised us a look at the new ABUS Game Changer. This is actually just the Game Changer, but all logoed up with all the look branding, so it will match. That is a little bit extra perhaps, but apparently this is one of the most aerodynamic helmets you can get right now. It definitely feels very, very light. See, what I first notice, obviously it's all closed off and ventilated slightly differently than we're used to, but there's no MIPS, there's no sort of controlling here. I think they do a MIPS version, but this isn't that. Let's have a quick weigh, shall we, and see what it says. 285 grams. Now, my current frame helmet is the Smith, I can't remember the name of this one now actually, but this does has MIPS, and for long-term viewers of the show, you might remember that time I had a really nasty accident, gave myself concussion and all sorts, and oh my God, did I value the MIPS in there. It was superb. I actually felt it all move as I had my big crash. 285, about the same weight to be honest. So has MIPS, but probably not as aero. Not quite sure which one I'm going to take yet. In fact, why don't you guys let me know, if it was you, what would you take? Would you take the more ventilated Smith Trace, or would you go for the aero and all a bit branding extra look Game Changer? Let us know in the comments. Keen to hear what you think. Right, next up, let's have a think about cycling computers. So Wahoo have literally just sent us the Element Bolt. I'm excited to use this because I've never used the smaller Element Bolt before. So quick update on where I'm thinking with all of my Wahoo and Garmin's, etc. So you might remember the Hammerhead Karoo. This had a big software update recently. It's got significantly better since then. My major complaint about the laggy controls definitely seems to be addressed. I'm starting to enjoy using this a lot more, but it's still not my go-to, mostly because the screen glare. And also, I mean, you can't beat the simple user interface of a Wahoo. It's just easy, like grab and go, get a route on it. It's just there, it works. With software that already exists on my phone, there's nothing else to add. So I am enjoying that. The Element Roam I've used a lot off-road. It feels like the right combination of size and sort of feels robust, it feels light, it doesn't feel too fragile. Happy to use this off-road. This, I just feel a bit too scared to use off-road, and on-road, it just feels like a heavy lump of stuff that I don't necessarily need on the road, which is ironic because that big screen, when you are navigating, tends to be when I'm navigating off-road on gravel, there's more twists and turns to worry about where you could do with a bigger screen. But I don't know, I still enjoy the ride in this. I've enjoyed learning about all the wind features, and it's definitely taught me some stuff. It wouldn't be my go-to. And I've never used the little Bolt before. This is the Bolt 3. It now has a color screen. I haven't even turned it on yet, so I think I'm going to take this on. Doesn't seem to be a massive weight difference, and the screen size doesn't seem to be massively different either. So not entirely sure where the pros and cons lie between both of those, but watch out for a full review. While I'm on this little table, one thing I should do, which I always forget, and I know loads of you forget as well, and that is, what are all the spares that you take? So this is my little tub of spares, and you can see it always gets dirty. Guaranteed the time that you really, really want this is the time you haven't looked at it for ages and everything's just gone rusty. So we've got lightweight tyre lever, it's a toe peak one, 20 gram cartridge, and I think this is an old fabric gas thing. It actually works really well because it's got a valve on it, so it doesn't just dispense gas when you're not expecting. Keep a little quick link in there and a little park tool patch, a little toe peak tool. Now these little tools I've never actually found one that's good, and they tend to rust and you tend to go through them quite quickly. This is what I'm on at the moment because it was lying around. But the important thing for me is if you are going to ever use a chain tool is make sure you can actually use it. This one actually isn't that usable unless you're quite a skilled mechanic, because you can't get enough leverage. You've got to really hold that tight and have something to hold it. If it's a stiff link, it's almost impossible. So it's good to have them, but you know, check it is actually functional, because most of them aren't functional even. But yeah, I've never found a tool set that I've really gone, yeah, that's fantastic. That's just what I'm on at the moment. So I am missing a lightweight inner tube that needs to go in there, and probably another gas canister. Although that said, the new Toe Peak electric inflator, I might take one of those, because you'll get 4 tire inflations out of one of those, and it's about the same weight as 2 of these. So in this way, I sort of see you get 2 inflations, where with the electric one you get 4 and a bit of backup if you need to. So we're out riding. Isn't summer just the best? Anyway, I want to show you this light thing that we have going on here. It looks okay, a little bit bulky, but let me just show you another little angle there. Looks all right. Anyway, you want to see what happens at the business end. There you go, just in time. Look, and see a car come in. While I'm stopped, I'll just pull over and let this car go. Big red, amber, slowing down, past. Anyway, that's what we normally get. We get green most of the time, and then when you see a car coming, well, it does that. It like flashes up. Now, it's not universally brilliant so far, because when I first got it, obviously I was on a little back lane, didn't see anything coming. First time I needed it, I had pulled out of a junction, no cars were coming, a little brow of a hill, a Range Rover came bolted along, absolutely full pelt, saw me, wanted to pull out and try and overtake on the brow of the hill, and there was a car coming in the opposite direction. Of course, they do what every car driver does. They try and squeeze the rider out of the road and try and kill them, rather than face a head-on collision out of their own stupidity. But anyway, that radar did not pick it up at all, didn't give me sort of any warning. It was only until literally the car was right next to me that I had any idea. So anyway, jury's out. Let's go do some more riding. So, had a wicked ride out, but right now it's raining again. So we're back in the workshop, this time with Vic's bike. So I need to get Vic's bike ready for Mallorca 312. Got those tyres fitted up to these Elite wheels for her. So you can probably see on that 21.5 millimeters in these tyres, it's quite a sharp radius on those tyres. Vic's bike, we've been doing quite a lot of work with it. So if you haven't seen Vic on the channel before, she's a strength and conditioning coach and a sports therapist. She's been doing loads of work on her mobility and strength. She's a really strong rider, and doing loads of bike fitting work with her as well. We've come across a better bike fit, but you'll notice that we are right on the limit of the saddle rail here, and also we're a little bit too pointed down. So what we're going to do is switch this out for a 0 layback seat post and get that saddle position right. We're also going to change these wheels out. We've also got a little blanking spot there, and then just give the bike a little bit of a once over, sort of a service if you like, just make sure it's absolutely race ready for Mallorca. So we're doing the 312 race this year. We've got a media entry. I'm quite excited about that, because it takes the pressure off having to do a good time. Our purpose of being there is to document it, film it, share our experiences with you guys. So we're going to take it with GoPros, and we're going to talk about the whole getting to the start and what it's like, and how we're eating, and how we're fueling the ride, and what's our strategy. So hopefully we'll make a little interesting video. I can't say that either of us are on top form right now with our fitness. It's been a pretty stressful last couple of months, but I still feel pretty confident that we can do 14, 15 hours on a bike. I don't think it'll take us that long, but we can. We did the Frontier 300 together last year, had an absolutely brilliant time, and I think our fitness is about the same. First off, we want to get some measurements. 68.5 centimetre seat height. Do a little bit of a before and after weigh-in. It's always nice, isn't it, when you upgrade your bike, what differences it actually made. 8.5, very chunky. We've got the Espresso 07 pedals on. Vic really likes these. So this is the Data, I think it's the Superleggera RS seat post, one of our favourites. One, because you can get it in a laid-back version and a 0 laid-back version like this, but also the clamp system works really well. It's dead easy to adjust. You've got like a knurled nut at this end. You can change and adjust even from the inside, or you can get an Allen key through the top if your saddle has a cutout, and you can use it with saddles with carbon rails and the normal round rails as well. So there's no need to have like a different head. You can just upgrade your saddle without worrying about what your seat post is doing. I'm just going to guesstimate this for now while I get it into position. This saddle, actually, worth talking about. It's not a women's specific saddle, but it's the 153mm version of the Dimension. Vic really gets on with this. It's like slightly wider sit bones without going to full on female one, but also it's still quite narrow through here as well. So we did try it with the female version of this, but this one was the one that just finds dead comfy. Lining this up, I'm just going to eyeball it for now because this saddle's got quite a scoop. So what I'll tend to do with the Dimension saddles is, rather than trying to get it dead flat in this area, I tend to look at this bit and then line it up with something I know that's flat in the background, and then just going to angle it down ever so slightly, like maybe just one degree or so. And there's not a massive torque rating on this, it's only 5 Newton meters. So we'll stop there and get a torque wrench on it in a second. The wheels that we've been running on this for quite a long time actually are the Passetti Picos. Solid set of wheels, they're 46mm deep, but done really, really well. But these are actually probably better suited to Vic's gravel bike now. So these are going to go onto her gravel bike. It's quite amazing how much a new set of wheels can change the look of a bike. So this is how much tyre clearance we're getting. So remember, the Time ADH is a 28mm, and although you can see a bit of tyre clearance here, this is a 4mm Allen key. There we go, that's the critical one for me, is above there. The side to side, in my view, doesn't matter too much as long as you've got a good stiff set of wheels. You know, you shouldn't really be moving the wheels around too much, but you definitely want a good 4mm on top. But look at that, even the brake rotor lines up. For a long time, Vic was actually running a one-bike system on here. It's fairly new to road biking, more from a mountain biking background. So we're actually running the 10 through to 36 cassette, but actually running a 46-33. So she's got an incredibly low climbing gear. Remember, when we live in the Lake District, hills around here are really steep. It just works really well for her. She likes the whole spin to win. I'm still running the 172.5mm cranks. Could argue a bit on the long side, but like I say, Vic is a strength coach. High levels of mobility and flexibility. Little point on these valve caps, I'll commonly see a lot of the valve caps now have their little holes or notches on the top. This is actually you can use them for a little wrench to undo or do up the valve caps. I'm not going to let all the air out here, but it's a little handy feature, especially if you're running tubeless and you need to tighten up your valve cores. So how much weight do you think we've taken off? Carbon seat post, slightly shallower, more modern, up-to-date wheels, slightly lighter tyres as well. Holy shit, 400 grams. That's not to be sneered at. Definitely worth a little upgrade. So just under 8 kilograms with pedals, Garmin mount, ready to ride. One thing about this bike, this is now, I think, about 2 years old, and it has been absolutely hammered, and the paintwork on them is always immaculate. It takes no effort at all just to clean and polish this up, and the paintwork is still absolutely gleaming as if it was new. So you might have seen this big bike box in the background throughout the video. It was my intention to show you guys how we pack a bike into it, but everyone here thought actually it'd be a really good video in its own right if we did a whole video about how we pack a bike into a box like this, make sure it's nice and safe, what else we put in it, how we secure it, and also some of the other prep work we're doing for the 312. So we're going to cover that in the next video. So if you're interested in that at all, get your comments down below and subscribe. Make sure you're notified when that video comes out. It's only a few days to go now, so let's get packed.